Okay friends, it's time to get started on our AC condenser. To do this, it's very important to make sure that you safely evacuate all the refrigerant inside of your AC system. When you do this, you want to make sure that you use a specialty machine and you never want to evacuate it into the atmosphere. Now, once you have the AC system evacuated, we can continue with the AC condenser. Now, from underneath the vehicle, if you happen to have a splash shield under here, you're going to want to go ahead and take that down. Typically, there's going to be a couple bolts or maybe even push clips. Ours is missing, so I have nothing to show you. But we're going to continue on to removing the AC condenser. Now, the AC condenser has a couple of lines that lead to it. We're going to have to remove both of those 13mm bolts. Keep in mind, there could still be oil or even potentially pressure in the system. Once you have both the lines off of there, we're going to continue on to our two 10mm headed mounting bolts. There's one on either side of the AC condenser. Now we can move over to the driver's side. Let's start loosening this 10mm. Keep in mind, as you're loosening or removing this bolt, this is going to be one of the last things that holds the AC condenser into the vehicle. Once you have it loose, I'm just going to go ahead and carefully push it up and slide it towards the passenger side. Once you have that out of there, we can go ahead and carefully pull this down and out of the vehicle. There it is, friends. With the AC condenser out of there, the next area that you want to pay attention to is each of the lines. On each of the lines, you're going to find that you have an O-ring gasket. You just want to go ahead and pull that off of there and give it a quick inspection. I just like to see what they look like. Once you have both of them off there, you're going to want to go ahead and match them up with some brand new ones and replace them as needed. Now let's move along to cleaning the lines. You just want to go ahead and give these a good wipe. Once you have them wiped down, give them an inspection. You want to make sure it doesn't look like they're corroded, rotted, or damaged in any way. Now, assuming those look good, let's continue on by putting on some brand new gaskets. When you're doing something with your AC system, you want to make sure that you use the proper type of oil. Now, of course, I'm going to use a little bit of this oil just on those little O-rings that I just went ahead and replaced. It's good to have some sort of lubricant on them. Let's put our lubricated seals on the lines. Now we can start installing our AC condenser. Pay attention up along the top of each side of the AC condenser. That needs to slide up along the radiator, and it's going to want to fit into the grooves. All right, I've got it in the groove on the driver's side. I'll do the same over on the passenger side. Now at this point, both of our mounting bolt holes should be lined up. We'll continue on with our two 10mm headed mounting bolts. Go ahead and start each of those in there and then snug them up. Okay, that's bottomed out. Just make sure it's nice and tight. Bottomed out. Nice and tight. We're going to give it a wiggle. Obviously, it's going to move around a little bit with the radiator. That's fine. Now we can start putting in our AC lines. Let's start with the top one. We're going to slide it right in up against the AC condenser. Start in that mounting bolt and then bottom it out. Once we have both the lines bottomed out against the AC condenser, let's go ahead and torque each of these 13mm headed bolts to 15 foot-pounds. Now that we have both these bolts snugged, let's go ahead and torque each of them to 88 inch-pounds. Okay friends, we got our AC condenser installed in the vehicle. Now the next step that you're going to have to do is continue on by adding a little bit of that PAG oil, or the AC refrigerant oil that I showed you before. Aside from that, you're going to want to make sure that you recharge the AC system with the proper refrigerant and to the proper capacity. After that, go ahead and start it up and make sure it functions properly. Thank you for watching.